Hey, this is Eric over at TechnoRV, and in this video, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about the Pepwave Max BR1 MK2. And I've got one right here. We're going to take a look at it and talk about all of its features. The first thing to know is that this is a cellular embedded router, and it is a Cat 6, and it's a dual band Wi-Fi out of the box, and I'm going to explain what all that means. This is the main engine of the unit right here. This is the router, and these things are built like a tank. They are industrial strength, and they have been certified and tested to take a lot of shock and vibration abuse, because again, these are actually used in industry, so we actually get the advantage of that on the RV side. And it can be a little bumpy driving down the road in the RV, so it's good that these things are built for that. So let's talk about the measurements on this unit right here. So it is 5.8 inches across. It is 5.8 inches, 5 inches right here, and then the height of it is 1.6 inches. So pretty compact, right? And so let's talk about this whole Cat 6 thing. That means Category 6. And it is the reason that this unit has excellent throughput speeds. And just so that you know, theoretical speeds on this unit right here is 300 megabits per second download and 50 megabits per second upload. I say theoretical because there are a lot of other things that can affect throughput and speed. This unit's capable of doing that. Whether or not the local cell tower that you're connected to is capable of that, who knows. Also, you know, you got to count in obstructions between you and the tower and other things that can affect signal that also can affect speed. But this can certainly handle it itself. The Category 6 part of this means, and it's part of the reason that it is so fast, is that Category 6 means that it has what's called Carrier Aggregation. And that means that this particular model can connect to 2 frequency bands at one time to give you better throughput. So having the ability to merge 2 bands together is incredible technology that you will get with the Cat 6 modems. Now, you may hear of, you know, Cat 12 and Cat 18. It just means more carrier aggregation. The Cat 12s can connect to 3 frequency bands at one time, and the Cat 18s can do up to 5. So again, we're talking about Cat 6. It can connect to up to 2, and that's why you get those great speeds. Out of the box, it's got a great transmitter and great antenna power. So if you're used to like a jetpack like this, just like out of the box, this one's going to immediately outperform it because of its increased transmitter and antenna power. It can make all the difference in the world. Okay, so let's talk about the antennas that you get on this unit here. And so you're going to get multiple cellular antennas. And what that means is that out of the box, this is considered a MIMO device, multiple in, multiple out. You may have heard that terminology before. And let me break that down for you a little bit. Imagine trying to communicate with a source with one antenna, and as the single antenna is creating waves and moving to the point of communication. Maybe there's obstructions in the way, there's a building, there's some trees, you're in a valley, whatever it is, all of these things can create breaks and errors in that communication as it goes and comes back to you. So it makes sense that you would have more than one antenna, thus the MIMO technology, so that you have 2 antennas at the same time going and grabbing that information. It can reduce those errors, and what that means for you is that you're going to have a much better experience and better throughput. So on this device, you'll just see main cell, and then there's a secondary cell, and you just screw these paddle antennas on like this. Super easy to do. They fold up like this. They're kind of cool looking, these big paddles here, and they really do pack the power. I mean, let's think about this. I mean, if you just add even just a few dB of gain to antennas versus a system that doesn't have that, like this unit right here actually has ports that I can connect a MIMO antenna to, but it's not MIMO out of the box, right? And so having the ability to add decibel gain to your antenna ports can, I mean, depending on the amount of gain that it is, I mean, 2 decibel gain could increase your throughput and your signal strength by 50%. Anyway, there's your cellular ones here. Okay, I mentioned to you, this is a dual band Wi-Fi. Dual band meaning it can connect to the 2.4 gigahertz band, and it can connect to the 5 gigahertz band. 2.4 being great for long distances and fast, right? And then the 5 gigahertz being better for, or operates better with shorter distances, but it is faster, right? It just can't communicate as far. So having both of those is great. And again, out of the box, if you've looked at my video on the BR1 Mini, the BR1 Mini out of the box does not have Wi-Fi. It's an additional charge to activate the ability to pick up Wi-Fi, right? And then even when you do that, it's only 2.4 gigahertz. With this unit right here, you are getting Wi-Fi out of the box and both bands, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. So this is great stuff here. So let's move on to this other antenna that you'll see in this box is a GPS antenna. Now, you don't have to use this if you don't want to. All it's going to do is tell you where your device is. So it will log this information for a period of time. And so, you know, if you wanted to know where you were at last week, specifically by GPS location, then you could pull that up on the back end portal. Anyway, it's just a connection point, and you will see that there is a connection point on the router that says GPS. You would just screw this in. Now, as it relates to a GPS antenna, it's always good to get that having direct sight to the sky, right? So if you wanted to use this, you could certainly try this by maybe putting it up in your dash or in a window of your RV. But the recommended method for this is that you would need to put this on your roof. So you can try it out how you want. It is available. I'm not going to hook that up right now. So we got to get this thing powered up, and out of the box this comes with a wall outlet plug with a little barrel connector here, little push in, and you'll see back here on the back it operates from 10 to 30 volts DC. You just plug that in here, plug it into a wall outlet, and you are off and running. Now what we've done is we wanted to have you have the ability to also connect this hardwired to a DC source, or even like with a cigarette lighter. So when you get this from TechnoRV, we actually include a hardwire kit, and you'll see a terminal block here on the back that you would hardwire into here and then directly to a DC power source. In addition, we are also including the cigarette lighter style plug here, which really makes it easy. And then again, it's got just the regular plug-in where you normally plug the wall outlet in. You would now just plug that in and it will work fine. So you get 3 power sources when you get it from us here at TechnoRV. So you will never be wondering how to power this unit. So this unit is compatible with Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, all the big guys. And again, you're going to bring your own data plan to the table here, and then Pepwave will do the rest. So it actually has multiple SIM card slots, and it takes full-size SIM cards in this unit. And so whatever plan you have or that you need to go get, you'll just it just needs to be a plan that's designed for a router. For example, if you've ever had one of these have SIM cards in them that are designated router plans. So the SIM card that would work in something like this would be the same SIM card that you could actually pull out of this and put into a unit like this. Or you can just go to, like the other day I went to the T-Mobile store and I just told them that I wanted, currently at the time of this video, they have like a 100 gig plan for 50 bucks, which is a great deal. And so I told them I wanted that plan, but I didn't need a device, and they basically handed me a SIM card that it was just loaded with that data plan already on it. Now you can, as I said, put two different plans in here, but it is single modem here, so it can't use both of them at the same time. But you know, if you had maybe one plan that was available for high data use maybe that you had, and you wanted one that maybe was a lower data use that you could kind of use as a backup or something like that, then that would be the purpose for that. It also has failover capabilities, which means that if your SIM card in one, let's say the tower that you're on, fails, that it can move you to the other connection automatically, right? Now the regular failover that comes with this, even though it's automatic, you still might see a break in, like, let's say you're watching a movie and it freezes up because your cellular connection froze up. It'll start the process of moving it over when it sees that, but it may take a bit. I'm going to talk about hot failover here in a little bit, where it's more instantaneous, and that's something that you can get with this device as well. The Wi-Fi range just within your RV or boat or whatever you're in is excellent. A lot of times when you're using these little jet packs, if it's at the front of the RV and you're in the back, your signal strength can be poor. This really puts the heat to it and really makes a great zone, you know, within your RV. You're going to always have good signal strength within your RV. Another thing to point out is on the back of the unit, you do have LAN and WAN port. So let me explain those real quick. WAN, wide area network, is, and I'm going to explain this because most people can relate to having a home that maybe you have Comcast or Mediacom or something like that, the internet provider, and then you have an Ethernet cable in your home that plugs into like your router, and then that router rebroadcasts the Wi-Fi within your home. Same thing here. The WAN port is an input from a hard line sourced through Ethernet. Now, you're on a boat or you're in an RV, chances are most of the time you're never going to have access to that, right? That's why we're out there, so that we are sort of disconnected, and that's why we need things to more be wireless. But if you found yourself in a situation that you did have access to that, then you could use it. The LAN port is basically an output connection, Ethernet, to where you can plug this unit directly into like your computer. Typically a direct wired connection is better than a wireless connection. So if you were using, say, Verizon here, instead of wirelessly connecting your computer to this device, you could hardwire connect it with an Ethernet cable. Now, because WAN is most of the time not going to be used for RVers and boaters, you can reassign that WAN port to be another LAN port. Now that you might use, right? Because maybe you got two computers or something that you want to direct connect to this. There's a lot of flexibility with this unit, and I'm just trying to point out here to you so that you sort of know how flexible it is and how customizable it is. All right, let's talk about something called Speed Fusion, and this is something that you can activate with this unit right here. When you buy this unit, you get 1 year of something called Essential Care. That's your 1 year warranty that you get, and it is also your updates and your support through Peplink. They've got like a ticket system, which we're going to support you as well, but they do have it available like that, and also this Speed Fusion. And so there's three elements to Speed Fusion, and there is something called hot failover, WAN smoothing, and bonding. Because this is a single modem, they didn't design this to do the bonding side of things, which is basically taking multiple sources of internet, combining them together, and then giving you more throughput. If you're interested in more information about that, or a unit that actually can do that, then you need to be looking at the dual modem, the Max Transit Duo units that we sell. But with the Speed Fusion activated on this, you do get the hot failover, and what that means is that all available resources that you have pulling in internet, which could be a cellular connection through your data card, and it could be 2 sources of Wi-Fi, because you have 2.4 and 5 here. And what that means is that, let's say you're on a Zoom call, and it's super important that this does not get interrupted. Then you could set up the hot failover during that call, and if one of those sources dropped out, in an instant it would put you on another source. And I mean in an instant, to where it's an unbreakable connection, to where you would never even see a blip in the Zoom call or a video or whatever it is you got going on. So hot failover is spectacular, and you can get that by activating the Speed Fusion with this unit right here. Also, the WAN Smoothing is pretty awesome too. What that means is that, again, all available resources, cellular, 2 Wi-Fi connections, what it does is, if it's activated, it will, whenever you initiate a request for internet, it will send out packets to all available resources. And for a lack of a better term on how to explain this, whichever one of those resources responds the quickest, does the best job on getting the information back, that's the one that basically gets the job, right? So if you're on a Zoom call and you have the WAN smoothing on, and say you've got Verizon and 2 Wi-Fi sources connected into the unit, it's constantly doing that in the background. It's nothing that you need to know is going on. You just know what's going on, right? And so at the end of the call, maybe it's a 30-minute call, you might have done some of that call on Verizon or AT&T, whatever your card is. Some of that call may have been coming through the one of the Wi-Fi connections, and it's just constantly pinging, getting the best sources and providing that to you, and it's all seamless to you. So WAN smoothing is pretty awesome, and you can get that by activating the Speed Fusion that you get for a year through the Essential Care. So again, with the Essential Care, that's your 1-year warranty that you get with this unit. It is the Speed Fusion and your updates and all that. So I want to talk now about some external antenna options that you will have. When you go to the product pages of all of our Pepwave devices, we have the recommended outside antenna that would match up perfectly with the particular unit that you're looking for. And then you would just choose if you want to get that. Now, out of the box, of course, you're getting these internal antennas, and they work great, and you will definitely see a lot of performance improvements over, say, like just a regular jetpack. Now, outside's always better, right? Line of sight's better, and typically these antennas will just have more decibel gain, which is going to bring in the signal better and give you better throughput speeds. So the outside antenna, the omnidirectional outside antenna that we recommend, is the Puma 221. It's an omnidirectional antenna. It's a 5-in-1 antenna, which means that there's basically 5 cables all wrapped up into one, right? But we need to talk about what these 5 connection points are, so that you know. And it's basically all the connection points we've talked about here. You've got 2 cellular, right? So you would just unscrew these 2 and connect these. You've got 2 Wi-Fi, so now you're unscrewing these and plugging this in. And then, of course, you've got your GPS. This unit right here is something that you could permanently mount on the roof of your RV. You can do it, or you can get a RV tech or somebody that maybe is experienced in installing satellite dishes or something like that to do it. And then once that's up there and plugged in, then it's just going to be working. This provides up to 7 decibel gain increase. So I say up to 7 because depending on what frequency it's reaching out to across the cellular bands, some may be a little bit lower than 7, some are right at 7, and also the same thing for the Wi-Fi bands as well. But you get up to 7, which, like, the number 7 just like doesn't seem like a lot, but as it relates to this, it's a lot. I mean, you can see some massive gains by applying this antenna to this equation. So the point here is this: like, as an RVer, a boater, we're traveling around all over the place, right? And so some places we're might have better experiences, you know, without having to have an outside antenna, and then sometimes we're at places where maybe we're just so far from the tower. So if you can do it, and again, you don't have to install this on day one, but I do encourage you to get an outside antenna, and then you can figure out like the timing on getting that installed by yourself or a tech. The other antenna that you might want to consider, we do have a directional antenna. It's called the pointing X-pole antenna. And I'm just going to reach over here, grab this. Now this is directional now, right? So this is one direction. So you got to point it in the direction of where the cell tower is. It is just a 2-in-1, right? So this is only for your cellular connection. So it would just plug into these two ports here. And oftentimes a directional antenna can outperform a omnidirectional antenna because you eliminate a lot of noise from the 360-degree direction, and you're just focused in one direction. So, but they're also a little bit more of a pain because you, at each location, you got to aim it towards the cellular tower. I'm more of an omnidirectional kind of person, but I know there's a lot of techie people out there that much prefer a directional antenna. So you pick what's right for you. If you're not sure, you're probably an omnidirectional type person. The other thing that we have under this listing is just extension cables for the outside antennas. So you can look up on the listings and just see the links of all the different cables that come on these antennas here, and then see, hey, if I'm going to install this wherever this is going to land, is that enough cable, or do I need an extension here? Let's talk about pricing now. So I'm shooting this video in January of 2021, and the MK2 is priced at $599, and then your Puma 221 antenna is $199. The X-pole is $196, and then you can get different size extension cables, but you know they're going to be $90, $100, maybe a little bit north of $100 on that. So as you can see, if you think about it, if you've watched the video on the BR1 where it's $399, but it doesn't come with the Wi-Fi, and to get Wi-Fi on that one you pay another $100. Now you're up to $499, but it's only single band Wi-Fi 2.4. For $599, you can get this one, and it's dual band Wi-Fi in addition to, of course, your cellular. So that's it. That's the MK2, and you can get it over at TechnoRV.com. And don't forget, when you buy it from us, we're going to make sure you're well supported. You can call us, you can email us, you can chat with us. Whatever we need to do to make sure you're successful with these units, we're going to make sure it happens. We've also got access to some of the most brilliant minds with Pepwave, and so if there's something we don't know the answer to, we can certainly get you in touch with somebody to help you out if it's a more complicated situation. Either way, we're going to make sure you're successful. Go check it out at TechnoRV.com.